is another episode of the Noise Report. I'm the music god CJ Plain. You know what we do here. We laugh, we have fun, we interview cool and interesting people from all over the globe. Normally it's music stuff, but we do pretty much anything that's thrown our way. This one is music. To my right, my left, however you may see him on your screen, is a gentleman that I was introduced to recently through Beatrice and is it Nikia, I think, or
Nika.
how you say it?
Nike.
Okay. This is Mr. Ajay Mathur. Am I saying that right?
Mathur.
Yeah. He is a phenomenal musician. I was just introduced to his music, and I absolutely love what I heard. Took me back to being a kid, sitting in front of my uncle's big house stereo with the headphones that were as big as my head, and listening to all those old cool vinyl records that he had. So we're going to start by letting him give you a brief rundown on who he is and where he comes from and a little bit of background.
Sure. CJ, thanks a lot for having me. My name is Ajay Mathur, and I'm a musician, singer-songwriter, and a producer. I've been doing that for decades, so don't have to get started a long time back. And I was born and raised in India. That's India.
Awesome.
Not Indian, not the feather one. You know? And I moved away from India after I finished my university, and moved to Europe. Lived a little bit in Germany, then moved to Switzerland. Like I told you, I've lived in many different countries. I feel comfortable everywhere. But it's great to live in Switzerland. It's a small place. Everything works. Everything is pretty cool and clean.
Yeah, one of my favorite all-time bands is from Switzerland. I'm a huge fan of the band Goddard.
Ah, yeah, of course.
So,
these guys live about three-quarters of an hour away from me.
Oh, wow. I was so devastated when Steve got killed in that motorcycle accident.
I know. It's just tragic. I mean,
such a phenomenal singer. Like,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know, like every once in a blue moon, I mean, there's tons and tons of great singers in music, but every once in a blue moon, you hear that singer who just, it's the type of singer that you know that you don't teach that person to sing. It just comes right from their being, you know. Yeah. And Steve was that kind of singer. Like
he was doubtless, no doubt about that. He was phenomenal.
Yeah, like you know,
that's so tragic that it was so short. You know.
Yeah.
He would have been somewhere completely different, you know.
Yeah.
Different place now.
But they made a hell of a choice with Mark. Like it took me a minute to get on with Mark, mainly because I was just kind of stuck on the whole "It Isn't Steve" thing. But by the second record, I was kind of like, all right, this kid can really sing too. And in all fairness, you know, it's not fair to hold it against him.
Crocus was also pretty famous.
Yeah, Crocus is still kind of kicking around, and a few other ones too. Black Aces is another one that I love that are from there. They're a little more AC/DC-ish, but lot of great musicians from the gentleman. I could never.
One of the bands, probably you haven't heard of them, but I think they're phenomenal. They're called the Young Gods. If you check them out,
okay.
They are. I won't say anything. They're so good.
Are they?
Like one of those things where you get like, whoa, you know, that kind of effect.
Yeah. The other one that is he's partly from there. His dad was from New York. His mom's from Switzerland, and he has dual citizenship. And I could never remember his name, but he has the band Zeal and Arger.
Okay.
And it's a phenomenal story. he started out doing this kind of jazzy music, and he wanted to do something different. And he went on 4chan, and he said, "What should I do?" And going back to the story I was telling, somebody on 4chan made a very racist remark to him because he's partly black. And he took that and he turned it on its head and created this band that is the most insane thing you've ever heard. He takes black metal and he mixes it with like old slave spiritual songs from the Civil War era.
Yeah.
So he truly performs black metal. And it's the crazy, you think, okay.
Is he a drummer or
he's a singer and guitar player?
Singer, okay. I know a drummer, Swiss American drummer who's also pretty popular. Yeah.
But he takes this old Civil War spiritual sounding music that the slaves sang, and he adds this ferocious music to it. And you think it wouldn't go together, but
it works.
It's brilliant, and it's like it's so dark and gothic sounding, and it's just like that's crazy. That it's funny to me that he took this racist comment, being a black man, and instead of being pissed off about it, he just turned it on its head and he used it against the dude.
Yeah.
You
have to stand above all that, I guess. You can't. Everybody's got his own opinion. That's the thing. Like we were talking before.
Yeah.
It's fine, and some people actually let the opinion out, and sometimes to provoke a reaction. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's just stupidity, and you don't really know what it is, and a lot of people actually react to that. You get that, and you want to sort of give it back. Damn. What the hell do you think who the hell do you think you are? But if you just suck it in and sort of turn it into something else, it just you're using that air which is coming out and creating a thrust towards a direction you want to take the conversation. That's the beauty of the if you have that kind of a relationship. It's also a lot of self-confidence, healthy self-confidence, I lived in different places. I know, it's not easy to just, I'm not white, and living in Switzerland, with slightly dark color, especially here where I'm living in central Switzerland. When I moved here, I was the only darkish kind of guy. I had a big afro, man. I had an afro and a beard, I looked like his uncle or something, And
I've been there.
People looked at me, but I also had that sort of healthy attitude towards letting people have their opinions.
Yeah,
it's nothing wrong with people having opinions. Nothing wrong.
No, not at all.
You can also express that. What turns in sour is actually when you react to that. Or you feel hurt about that. Somebody said, people throw things at you. It's like, drinking poison, expecting the other guy to fall down dead.
Yeah.
It's exactly that with these kind of things, racist remarks or, being aggressive to somebody. But it's great. I think it's excellent that guy did.
I thought it was brilliant. And the music is really good. I always go back to what my great grandma said. I had an incident in middle school where, my mother, I love her to death now, but growing up, she had a checkered past, and I grew up in a very, very small white community. Mm-hmm. And my mother was married to a black man, and people in my community didn't let me forget the fact that she was married to a black man. Yeah. So I heard it all the time. She was this, she was that. And I went home one day. I was so angry. I was ready to fight everybody. I was just sick of it. And I told my great grandma, they're saying this and they're saying that, and I'm gonna punch this dude in his mouth. And my grandma she would tell you, she's like, well, is what they're saying true? No. And why do you care?
It's amazing.
Wait, what?
I'm telling you something, CJ. I'm
Yeah,
telling you something here. It's amazing. That what you're telling this story happened. Something similar happened to me. I was a geek at school. I used to get all bullied all the time, and people calling names, and then my dad actually sat me down once, and he said, "What do they call you? Say everything they call you." So and as he said, "Are you that?" I said, "No, I'm not that." But why is he calling me that? He said, "Why? What does it hurt you? It's his
yeah,
opinion. He doesn't know you. He doesn't know you.
yeah,
You can say, hey, you can say whatever you want. That's your opinion. It's your free. It's your right to say that. You don't hurt me. No, you don't know me. I'm
yeah,
myself. Just like, it's amazing that your grandma
yeah.
had the same,
Yeah,
and
she
that
told me, she said, words only have the power that you allow them to have.
exactly.
That
Yeah.
was her words. And when she told me that, it was
Yeah.
like, I didn't know what to say. I was speechless. I was like, wow, it made sense. But when you're 13 and angry, your brain doesn't process like that. And then after that, I've most of my life, if you say something to me, I don't care.
Yeah.
It's just words.
No,
It's
this kind of stuff helped me too.
yeah,
What
yeah,
my dad said really helped me. He also said, "Look, you know yourself better than anybody else.
yes,
Not even me. I don't know you, but you know yourself better than anybody. You have to be honest to yourself that not only know what you're good at, but also what you're not that good at, and you have to know that because maybe there's a chance to make it better, or you get into a situation when oops, I'm not that good at that, so what do I do here? You know so that helped me a lot throughout my life. It's like that these words come all the time, and it's
yeah.
I don't easily get provoked. It's-
That's the way you have to be now because it's so easy to get provoked now. And
yeah,
it's one of the things I hate the most about society is the fact that people are so easily offended. They're so easily provoked. They're so easily affected, and it's just kind of like, whatever. Like, I don't have time to,
people
like,
people are also gullible.
yeah.
That's the problem.
Let's talk about your record. You have a brand new record
Yeah,
called Talking Loud.
loud. Yeah,
It's really, really great. And like I said, I love this record. It takes me back to being that kid in front of my uncle's stereo, and
it's
um,
great.
yeah, there's a few songs on it too. My favorite one on it, and this is probably a weird choice, the song "Reason to Cry."
Yeah,
Obviously, the influence of where you're from culturally with the sitar and all that. There's a band called Shadow King that came out in the '90s.
hmm,
They have a song called Russia. And it was a one-off band. It had Lou Graham from Foreigner as a singer,
okay, okay.
Vivian Campbell as a guitar player, and they have a song called Russia.
Hmm.
And the second I heard the way it starts and the phasing of it, the vocals, I just thought to myself, man, it's so similar to what they did with the song Russia. And
What's the name of the band again?
Shadow King.
Shadow King.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was just like a
Come on.
one-off record
Yeah. I'll
that
check it out. Yeah.
Lou Graham and Vivian Campbell did. And it was one of them things during the late 80s, early 90s when grunge kind of took over and those type of bands weren't making money. So they did pet projects. But it sounds like Foreigner. I mean, obviously, It's
Yeah.
Luke Graham.
Yeah.
But that particular song is so different than all the other songs on it. And it's very similar to Reason to Cry. And it's such a beautiful song, a beautiful arrangement, like Reason to Cry is. And I thought, wow, that just kind of, it's a really beautiful song. The other thing that jumped out at me, and I don't know if this was intentional or not, but Uncommon Mistake.
Oh yeah,
I love the Cab Calloway hat tip.
Yeah.
Heidi, Heidi Ho. I thought that was brilliant. I was like, Cab Calloway is somebody that me and my great grandma used to listen to together.
Mm-hmm.
And when I heard that, I was just like, that's amazing. Like to work that into a song. And I don't know if it was an intentional, thing to Cab Calloway or whatever.
It wasn't it, but I mean, I grew up with Cab Calloway and all these
Right.
guys. That's kind of music I started, listening to, and also
Right.
started making. The good old rock and roll blues. That's the kind of stuff I grooved on and still groove on it.
Right.
I mean, my universe has just, there's so much great music out there.
Mhm.
Universe has expanded, and you have your own influences, but these things bind you and sort of bring you. They're always there. They influence you. I don't know if it was intentional or or even conscious, but when you say that, it is actually pretty similar. My idea initially was like a yodel.
Yeah.
It's a yodel. It's because
Well, yeah. I mean,
it's like yodi 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 yay.
Yeah.
That's. But you are right. That's
yeah. Because it is. He's like Heidi, Heidi, Heidi. Ooh.
Yeah. You're
And
right.
it just it that's what it kind of. And I was like, that's so cool. Like you don't hear people do that. Like
No.
Like that era of music is one of them things. There was a very brief period, I think in the middle 90s or so, when swing music kind of made a brief resurgence.
Mm-hmm.
And you heard a little bit. And then of course you have Brian Setzer, who brilliant musician that he is. I'm such a massive Stray Cats fan that it's sickening.
There's one song which is highly influenced by Stray Cats on my album.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
That's crazy. It's a funny story. At 13 years old, my dad sent me from Michigan to live with my mom in California. And we lived across the street from the school. And my first day at school, when I walked across the street, and the school was almost all Hispanic kids.
Okay.
And I sat in between these two kids, and they were passing pictures back and forth. It was a picture of this cat.
Yeah.
And I kept looking at it as they were passing it back and forth, and it was so cool. And I was like, what is that? He's like, oh, it's this new band. They're freaking incredible. And I was like, well, who is it? And it's like, it's the Stray Cats. And I was like, Stray Cats? Never heard of it. I was into like Southern rock because my dad's a truck driver. Mm-hmm. And I grew up on like Bob Seger and Boston, Bad Company, that kind of stuff. So I went right home, and I immediately, asked my mom if I could go to the record store. Went to the record store. She bought me the first Stray Cats record. And I took it home, and I was just immediately obsessed with them because it was so different, and it had so much swagger.
And swagger.
It was punk without being punk, And it was, like I said, that swagger that Brian has and that Slick has, you can't deny it. Like even 40 years later now, they just did the 40 record. And they haven't lost.
No, they haven't lost
anything.
Brian Setzer is one of the best guitar players.
Yeah.
He's like,
up
there. Yeah, absolutely.
Disgustingly.
Yeah.
And
that was one of the first bands where the drummer used to stand up and play drum, which was great,
Yeah, it still does.
Yeah, it still does.
Brian is one of them guitar players. Jerry Reed is the other one that you hear the music. And of course, everybody knows Jerry as an actor, but as a guitar player, and Brian as well, when you hear their music, it doesn't strike you as highly technical, like, but when you break down what they played and how they played it,
Yeah.
Brian, with his technique of he'll pick while he's cupping the pick,
Yeah,
and then he'll bring the pick
his
out.
rhythmic is very different. The way he phrases
Yeah,
his licks are completely, they're just out of the world. He,
yeah,
he it's his he syncopates different somehow.
yeah. It's because
His own way.
I've watched videos on it. He
Mhm.
uses a pick and his fingers,
Yeah,
and what
yeah,
he'll
yeah,
do is he'll
yeah,
alternate.
yeah.
He'll
Exactly.
he'll play with the pick, and then
Yeah,
he'll hide the pick like this, and then he'll pick with his other fingers, and then slide the pick back out.
yeah, yeah,
And I always thought that was such a crazy technique. Like I'd never seen that before, to slide the pick back across the edge of your thumb
yeah,
and
yeah,
not drop it or lose it in the process. And then Jerry did very similar. A lot of people don't know the story of Elvis when he recorded the song U.S. Mail.
yeah. Okay.
It was a Jerry Reed song.
Mm-hmm.
And Elvis brought in 13 different guitar players to perform the guitar, and they couldn't get it to sound correct.
Yeah.
So Elvis finally got mad and told Colonel Tom Parker, just get that son of a bitch in here to perform it himself. Because Jerry wouldn't teach the guitar players that Elvis wanted to play it. Jerry said, I'll come in and do it myself. Elvis said, I'm not interested in hiring you. So after 13 guitar players, Elvis finally said, just get the son of a bitch in here to play it himself. Jerry came in, did it in one take, and Elvis just told him, you know what? You're hired. And then he played in Elvis's band before he got famous. And Jerry, I love Jerry Reed. Like, Jerry Reed was such a amazing songwriter and performer and character as a person. I got to meet him as a kid, and my dad being a truck driver, we rode into a truck stop one night about 5:00 at night. We were stopping to get gas, and we were going to have dinner. And as we came around the back side of the truck stop, we seen this truck, and 7-year-old me immediately turns my head, and I was like, Dad, it's the snowman's truck. Dad's like, it's just some trucker who likes Smokey and the Bandit. Okay, it's reasonable. We're in northern Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
Go into this truck stop, sit down. I have to go to the bathroom, so I get up and I walk down and I come around the corner to go back towards the bathroom. And in the back corner booth, Jerry and about 7 other guys are sitting in this booth. And I stopped dead in my tracks, and I was like, run back to the table, and I told my dad, I said, Dad, Jerry Reed is here. I said, it's not Jerry Reed. It's just some trucker who looks like Jerry. I'm like, no, that's Jerry. Dad's like, it's not Jerry. I'll guarantee you it's not Jerry. So I go back. I stop in front of the table, and I post up, and I'm looking at him. And he's like, can I help you, son? And I was like, are you Jerry Reed? He's like, yes, I am. I was like, I knew it was you. He's like, my dad said it wasn't you. He's like, well, where's your dad? And I was like, he's over there. Jerry stands up and yells across the truck stop. He goes, son, come on over here. My dad stands up, and he's just, his eyes are like this big, and he's like, holy shit, it's Jerry Reed. They were filming Smokey and the Bandit 2.
Okay.
They were filming the road scenes, and they were away from catering.
Okay.
They got hungry and stopped for dinner. So we ended up having dinner with Jerry Reed and his filming crew.
Mm-hmm.
Funniest guy, beautiful man. Every bit as hilarious as you see him on the screen. And one of the greatest memories of my life. Like, it just, I just kind of sat there as a kid. I didn't say a whole lot, but when you're surrounded by one of the greatest country musicians of all time. Um,
Yeah, that's it's that magic moment, you know.
yeah,
You
uh,
really don't know what to say because it's like,
yeah, like it's just
let me not say anything, just enjoy that moment, you know.
yeah, like him and Dad were talking about trucking, which was funny because he wasn't a trucker, but he knew how to talk like a trucker,
Okay.
and it was great. I mean, it was just one of the moments in time where it was completely random. You probably one in a billion, that for it to happen, for you to just randomly run into somebody like that.
Yeah.
Um, and I wasn't gonna miss it. Like 7-year-old me was when Dad said that's not Jerry Reed. I was kind of like, you know what? I won't find out because I won't be pissed if that was Jerry Reed and I didn't ask if it was Jerry Reed. um,
Great. Yeah. So you like Common Mistake and Reasons to Cry.
Comedian is
Comedian.
amazing. It has such a huge Beatles vibe to it. I know you're a Beatles fan.
Yeah,
Um,
I am.
there's there's so much on this record. I don't remember the song in the beginning, and I know in the bio
Hmm.
someone mentioned Jackson Brown.
Yeah.
One of the songs has like a really beautiful piano part in it,
Hmm.
and I'm sure that's the part where they heard Jackson Brown. Me, I immediately heard Dan Fogelberg.
Yeah.
That was what and I don't, it was like maybe the third or fourth song. Um, I don't, my brain isn't processing it right now, but
Probably anytime at all. That's a so
yeah,
purely
that might be
purely
it.
piano song. It's
Um,
grand piano and
but
voice.
yeah, I heard Dan Fogelberg.
Yeah.
Again, Dan is another one of them guys whose name I don't think you hear nearly enough as a
Oh, no, I got
songwriter.
his records. I got his records. Yeah.
I I do as well. Um, my dad was a massive Bob Seger fan,
Yeah. So am
but
I. Yeah.
Dan Fogelberg and the Eagles were also played a lot uh,
Mhm.
in the truck. And Dan is one of them guys that I think it's a pure songwriter. Obviously, everybody knows leader of the band
Yeah.
and Old Lang Syne
Mhm.
or same Old Lang Syne. But War of the Roses, and there's so many songs that he did that were really master classes
Yeah.
on how to
Pro-
compose.
Probably the comparison with Jackson Brown. This is something
Yeah,
which came out of some of the reviews I had from my old albums.
okay.
And to be fair, it's I mean these are just amazing songwriters, and I've
Yeah,
always loved Jackson Brown's
yeah.
lyrics.
Jackson is an amazing.
He, he's just it's he says himself he's a really slow songwriter. He doesn't, but what comes out, it's like, I mean, how can you write these days at the age of 16? I mean, there's there's an old soul in that
Yeah,
body at that age. It's just when I first heard that song, I was pretty young. I didn't get it. It sort
yeah,
of went whoosh by me, and then I heard it again because I think that wasn't original Jackson Brown, which I heard. I think it was some singer. It was this uh, this German singer. I don't know what her name was. She did that song these days. She was hanging out with this Lou Reed and the um, um,
oh,
Velvet Underground guys. Yeah,
yeah. I
what's her name? Not Di. No, not
not
Di.
Susie Quattro.
No, no, no. Some
Um,
German. She was a
yeah, I
model.
know who you're talking about.
Yeah, and I didn't really like the song. She just couldn't. And then I heard Jackson Brown play that song, his version. Came much later. That just hit me like. And
that,
I love that subtlety of lyrics, and I try to bring that kind of directness That's also in that the one you like, common mistake. Do you fill yourself with fear of all the things you can? It's kind of that thing which we were going through the last 2 years, with the lockdown, and
Yeah.
someone whispering in your ears about the things that make you high. I can't go to the fucking bar. Sorry for that long
No,
language.
you're good. You're good.
Can't go to the bar. Jesus, and then
Yeah,
and that
it's
kind of stuff. Just can't get rid of your habits. And you just sort of crave, and you suffer because of your habits. And it's amazing that's the kind of stuff that it's a little bit from Van Zandt, and a mixture between him, Van Zandt, and and Jackson Brown. These
yeah.
combined, the
It's
cynical stuff.
yeah, it's amazing that being it's hard for me because one, my musical taste is so eclectic
Yeah.
that my friends are always scared to talk to me about music because I'm so all over the place with it that I go from one to the other on the
Yeah.
blink of a, you know, and one of the things that I love more than anything, being the metalhead and the punk guy growing up, I love the art of songwriting
Yeah.
and music that people wouldn't even realize I listen to by looking at me. They see the long hair, the beard, and all that, and okay, metal or country.
Mhm.
I more than anything, I love songwriting. I love people like Steve Earle, Townsend Van Zandt, um, Bob Seger, Jackson Brown, Dan Fogelberg. I love their music.
There's also some young guys
Yeah,
what's his name? He's from California. Um, Man,
um,
I'm so bad with names.
I'm not
He's got
sure.
the Gentle Spirit is the name of the album he did.
I'm not sure. Um,
It'll come. But
yeah.
the thing
I mean,
about this, for instance, you were talking about the song "Reasons to Cry."
mhm,
It's it's uh, it's 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 a song which is extreme. Which the whole thing was really cathartic for me in writing that song. The song is, it doesn't have like different things, but it's almost sets you in a flow. That
mhm,
was my intention. It sets you in a flow. It also takes you to places with the sitar and also the orchestra. It's a whole
yeah,
orchestra behind it. So the combination between classical orchestra, sitar, and this really that beat, and then that flow was some is for me. It's also like the rhythm of life, unfolding, and you getting your epiphanies about life, like I lost my reasons to cry since I've been learning to give. It's like, since I'm not self-centered, I don't have any reason to cry.
yeah,
That I'm not craving. I'm not. I don't build boundaries. I'm happy to give. And that's it's a little bit of my own life story. This kind of experience, and that's why it's quite a long song, but it's an intentional thing because it needs to
yeah,
take you on a journey into yourself. And the same thing goes for the other song, "Comedian." You said it's
yeah,
actually it's a pretty old song. I wrote it a long time back. Never found the right way to express it till I was
hear me.
fooling around with some keyboards, and I had these strings, and I said, that sounds good, you know. And this is almost it's like a like a setup for a stage, and it's the life is your stage, and it's like it's saying,
Yeah.
I've,
So I
I've,
have
I
to
had,
ask.
I had everything in under control, but you know, you threw me a line to confuse me, and I completely fell into that trap.
Right. So I have to ask.
Yeah,
You said you lived in the states.
yeah.
The song "Stuck on 75."
Oh yeah.
Have you actually been stuck on 75?
Sort of. Yeah, it's about getting stuck. That's the song which I told you that's been inspired a little bit by Brian Setzer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, it definitely has that bluesy vibe, that
that
feel.
little punk rockabilly kind of
Yeah.
vibe.
The reason I ask is 75 actually starts near me
Hmm.
and goes south, through
Yeah,
Ohio, Kentucky, blah, 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 down into Florida.
I know.
And I've been stuck on 75 more times than I could count in my life. Um, Never in Michigan. It's always going south.
Yeah.
Um, Atlanta, for example, has the worst traffic of any place on earth. I hate Atlanta traffic. I will intentionally drive 2 hours out of my way to avoid going through Atlanta. Just because you still end up being
You
faster.
know, when you're living in Los Angeles, there's no getting around traffic.
Yeah.
That was like late 80s, early 90s. It's like completely stuffed, and you had no other option just except to take your car. It's it's like 12 lanes
Yeah.
stopped, bumper to bumper.
I was
Yeah.
actually pretty fortunate. My mother's condo was only a few blocks off of Sunset Strip. So
Okay.
I didn't really have to drive, or she didn't have to drive anywhere. We kind of walk most places.
Yeah. I was
Um,
in North Hollywood, so it was kind
yeah.
of more
Um,
residential. Yeah. Yeah.
we were pretty lucky that pretty much everything we needed was,
Hmm.
and then if we didn't, we would just get on the bus. Um, Now the bus back then was definitely challenging at best because you would have to switch buses 6 times to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I know going to her job, she worked in Redondo Beach,
Okay.
so she went from where we lived to Redondo Beach on the bus.
Did you ever go to the bus station, the bus terminal at night?
Not at night. Um,
Different crowd of people there.
oh, I
I remember it. I wanted to drop off my girlfriend. She said, she lived in Laguna Beach. So she said, I'll take the bus. We had she came over and we had a great day. And then I drove her to the bus station. It was getting dark. And it was like Mad Max. It's completely crazy. I said, no, no way I'm going to let you out here alone.
my craziest bus experience. Um, we took the bus. Well, when we took the bus from Michigan out to LA, um, we came into Chicago at
Mhm.
nighttime at the old Chicago bus
Yeah.
station, the
Yeah.
underground one. And I had to go to the bathroom. And mom's like, well, they're upstairs. Okay, so up I went. I got to the bathroom and a dude steps in front of me. And he's like, $10. And I was like, what do you mean $10? He's like, there's a bathroom tax. And I was like, how do you mean there's a bathroom tax? I was like, I ain't paying $10 to go to the bathroom. Get the hell out of the way. Dude pulls his shirt back and shows me a gun, and he's like, $10. And I was like, never mind, I don't have to go to the bathroom. It was the stupid gangs
Yeah.
in Chicago that were like controlling the bathrooms, charging people to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
And I went back downstairs, and I was like, to go to the bathroom, and I was like, no, I'll wait till the next town. And she's like, to go to the bathroom. And I was like, dude put a gun on me to go to the bathroom. And mom, being my mom, she's charged up the stairs. She's like, you're going to the bathroom. And I was like, mom, it's not worth getting into a gunfight to go to the bathroom. So she goes up the stairs because my mom is just fearless. And she goes up there and she gets in the dude's face and she's screaming at him. And he like pulls his shirt back and shows her the gun. And my mom's like, she immediately is just like, you show me that goddamn thing, you better shoot me with that goddamn thing. And I was like, Mom, seriously, let's go. Got a bus. And she's like, blah, blah, blah. She's screaming at the dude all the way back down the stairs. And I was like, I can't take you anywhere. She's like, I ain't scared of that punk bitch. I was like, okay, you may not be.
It can get pretty hairy.
Yeah, I was like, like you may not be scared of them, but you can't go into the bathroom with me, and there might be others in the bathroom, and I don't want to get shot going to the bathroom. It's not really that serious.
Yeah.
I can hold it until we get down
Yeah.
to Champagne, you know?
A friend of mine, he immigrated from India to Canada, and he had to stop
Okay.
over in New York. And
Yeah.
like you said, he just had to go to the bathroom, change plane and go to bathroom. Got mugged, lost
Yeah,
everything.
I imagine New York would be. I've never been to New York. I it's really not a place that I don't think I could handle. We flew to we were flying from the US to the Philippines,
Mm-hmm.
and we flew through we had a layover in Tokyo,
Okay.
and of course it was like a 5 hour layover, so my uncle's like, let me show you the square.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. I'm huge fan of movies and video games and all that, so he wanted to show me all of that. Got down there, and I got vertigo, because standing there, you see it in the movies, but standing there, you have sound underneath you, above you.
Yeah.
It's like 360 degree,
It's extremely intense. I know. I know that.
and my brain was just like, I
Yeah.
felt like I was
Yeah.
having a seizure because,
I didn't have anything. It didn't really bother me. I grew up in an 18 million city,
right,
in the
right,
US. So that
right.
was that's a city. It never sleeps, that
Yeah.
like New York. It's like we used to make music. We used to play in clubs. We used to come out of the clubs, go eat on the roadside. What's the time, man? It's 5:30 in the morning. Okay, let's go. Let's have something. Let's have some coffee out there and some crackers and stuff. And this place was just hustling and bustling. It's just uh, stuff going on. Nobody slept. You could eat, you could drink, you could do everything 24/7. There was no Sunday. There's nothing closed. It's different here. Switzerland, Europe is different than the States.
Yeah.
Sunday is like closed. Nothing is up. You know, so you have to buy your stuff on Saturday latest because man, Sunday nothing's open.
Yeah,
But
I haven't gotten to go to India at all. I would love to at some point go there.
it
Uh,
is intense. It's
yeah,
intense, especially if you go to Mumbai. It's on the west coast, and it's almost like New York. It's got skyscrapers, high buildings. It's
I do love the movies though. They're there's some that are just they're
yeah, but that's
campy and
all. That's
ridiculous.
not reality, man.
Oh, I know. Oh, I know. But
That's
that's
Bollywood.
but you know what? That's what's great about it is there's movies that obviously are very campy and very over the top,
Yeah.
but they're beautifully done.
Yeah,
And
man, nobody will watch reality movies there, man. Life is way too bad. Nobody's gonna watch, serious, realistic movies. No,
uh,
nobody. It's gonna be
yeah,
a failure, complete failure. You have to give people this sense of. That's why there are a lot of Indian movies being shot here in Switzerland. Lots, all these girls dancing around and in the mountains, and these images and this completely artificial stuff. That's what Indian public actually loves. It's
nice.
a real heavy duty kitsch.
Yeah. So tell everyone, where do they find you? Where do they find this record? Again, it's called "Speaking Loudly."
Talking loud,
Talking loud. I'm sorry.
talking loud. Yeah,
Talking
you
loud.
can you can find me on. I mean, all the socials. You can are on my website. That's ajmathur.com. AJAYMATHUR.com. And you got links to all the shops. You can actually get my record on all online stores, or some local stores, record shops, all the big ones, smaller ones, middle ones, everywhere.
Because
It's available.
this is like what, your fifth or sixth record?
My fifth record, yeah.
Fifth record. So,
Yeah.
and you have a bunch of videos on. You have a bunch of
Mhm.
videos on YouTube.
Yep.
Um, I Here's one that's stuck on 75, but it is. I don't have the channel. he has a really awesome YouTube channel with
Yeah,
all of his videos. So if you're interested in that,
yeah.
just look him up on
It's just
YouTube.
look for AJ Mathur music.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
And or go to my website. It's like a hub. You got all the information there, all the links.
So I have just a few. We have a fun little thing we do here.
Okay.
It's called the Music Gods Random Questions of Insanity. And this is just a big, very random list of questions that me and friends have come up with while doing various things, playing video games or at the club or whatever. Somebody will say something and it will kind of stick in my head and it'll be like, that's a random question of insanity. So we just kind of randomly pick these off the list and let the
And you don't mind insane answers.
no.
Okay, that's good.
So the first one is, what's the most ridiculous fact you know?
The most ridiculous fact that I know.
Yes.
The most ridiculous fact that I know is that the Swiss farmers pour manure on the fields, and, and then the cows they go and eat up the grass which grows on that manure. That's the most ridiculous fact that I know.
It's like we do that in America too. So
You do you manure? Yeah, you just pour all the shit there, cow shit.
I'd say growing up, my grandpa always
Really?
put manure on the fields.
I thought that was a Swiss speciality.
No, it's you use the fertilizer, or you use it as fertilizer, essentially, as nitrogen and all that.
No, it wasn't new for me because every time it's good weather, it stinks.
Yeah,
you know, it's like, oh Jesus, a couple of nice days, then I start stinking.
That was kind of one of the running jokes growing up. Is when you would drive through the country, that smell. Yeah. And as a kid, you were always like, oh, that smells. And my grandpa's like, smell that fresh country air. I was like,
yeah, but there's a difference. I mean, if you go to Germany, you got pig farms and stuff. That's clear. But spraying manure on the fields, and then this thing is going up, and then cows eating them up. And you eating the cows afterwards.
The next one, what cheesy or embarrassing song do you have to sing along to when you hear
it? You can pick one out from ABBA, I guess. Dancing Queen.
Nice. Oh, mine is, and this always makes people laugh, but mine is Making Love Out of Nothing at All by Air Supply.
But Air Supply were pretty cool, actually.
Yeah,
they weren't cheesy.
Yeah. A lot of people don't know, or I don't know if it's a known fact or not, but Making Love Out of Nothing at All and the song Total Eclipse of the Heart were written by Jim Steinman in the same songwriting session.
Okay.
And Making Love Out of Nothing at All was actually supposed to be the song that Bonnie Tyler sang.
Mm-hmm.
And she didn't like it. So she chose Total Eclipse of the Heart. And then Air Supply picked the other one. And it worked out for both. So both phenomenal songs by phenomenal artists. But yeah, Making Love Out of Nothing at All is one of those songs. Like, no matter where I'm at, if you take me to a bar and they have karaoke and you get me drinking, I'll guarantee that a terrible version of that is going to be sung before the night is over.
I mean, if ABBA, I love their songwriting, but they are pretty cheesy. And every time you hear like Dancing Queen, you have to sing along. It's totally cheesy.
Money, money, money.
Yeah. That's not even cheesy. That's actually bad.
If you could play only one song of yours for a crowd of 100,000 people, which one would you choose?
One song of mine for 100,000 people.
Yeah.
There's a song called "Pennies to Gold," which is on my first album, "A Matter of Time," which I co-wrote with Mary Lou. That was the first song she wrote for me, and it was interesting. It was also the whole story. It's first of all, it's a really poetic. It's beautiful how it flows. She's genius at poetic lyrics. You know, my lyrics are very direct. She's she's a poet. You know, and and I sing this song very often live, and it's like every time it builds me up. That's the song I'd say I'd love to sing. That's one song, you know, I'll always sing.
Nice. And the last one, if you had to name one person as the most unsung hero of the music industry, who would you consider that to be?
The one unsung hero of the music industry. Hmm.
I'm gonna put you on the spot.
Well, you know, unsung. Well, I'd say I'd tell you who. I mean, I worked with a guitar player. He's a young guy. He's in his 30s, and still work with him. He's he's so extremely talented and so extremely. He's an you know, you got excellent guitar players, and then you got the exceptional ones.
Yes.
He's in that exceptional phase. You know, his name is Christian. He's on Talking Loud. He played all the solo stuff, and he's amazing. He's first of all, he's so spontaneous that a lot of all the guitars, by the way, are played from the beginning of the song to the end. There's no punch in, punch out. Never.
Okay.
I don't do that. My albums are recorded live. We do the basics live, and then when I do the vocals or the guitar overdubs or the other overdubs, yeah, we do like special effects. Yeah, those are just special
Right.
effects. But if you have a guitar part, you know, it's done from the beginning to the end. And Christian is a guy. He plays the guitar, and then I say, now the solo. I mean, he doesn't know the song. We don't practice the song before. He hasn't even heard the song. You know, I just give him the charts, the chord
Mhm.
sheets, and he goes play and said, now solo. And then he goes into the solo, and there are a couple of solo on real, on on uh, what's it called? A common mistake. These are all live solos.
Oh, nice.
Straight, bang. Yes, Talking Loud, the title song, the solo is straight from rhythm to the solo. You know, that kind of stuff. The best example is actually the solo on Real. You know, Real solo is something which he was actually making faces at me and fooling around. You know, it's, you know, we were having fun. He was having fun. He was
That's the way to do
having
it.
fun with me. And then we stopped. The song finished, and he stopped, and he said, "Okay, let's do it again." I said, "No, it's in. Everything is in." He said, "What?" He was making faces at me, you know, and that kind of stuff. So Christian is for me probably the one of those gems which never so far haven't come out, you know. But if you listen to my album and the intricate guitar work, he's also played all the lap steel stuff.
Oh,
He's
nice.
really he's got such a repertoire, and he's a jazz guitarist. He can play jazz, you know. You know, he's played jazz like on my last album on Little Boat. There's a song called "There We Are." It's pure jazz solo on that the ballad. It's beautiful. So he's for me like the unsung hero. I'd say.
Kumi. Ugh. I didn't sleep well last night. Um, so this is AJ Mathur, right?
Mathur, yeah.
Mathur. I'm horrible at pronouncing names. I apologize. I butcher names. That's just one of the things I.
I won't let you butcher mine.
Oh.
Don't worry.
Um, The new record is called Talking Loud. It's really phenomenal. So find this record, go to YouTube, check out all the videos,
Go to
and
my website. Go to my website. You can find all the links from there. You know,
um,
check me out on social media.
yes,
And drop me a message or a comment or whatever. Yeah, I'd
yeah,
love to hear from you.
yes. And thank you to Beatrice and her whole crew for setting this up and making this happen. Uh, if you're a musician or in any kind of thing and you need promotional work and representation, her whole entire crew are absolutely phenomenal. This is the third interview she set up, and just across the board, thumbs up on her work. It's so seamless. Like, I've worked with so many PR people that you have to fight with to get an answer back or to get stuff done. And she is so on top of her game, man, that you can't even put into words how happy and easy she makes my job uh, to be able to do this. So, um, you chose an amazing person to represent you.
Yeah, they're good. They're really good. Yeah.
So, thank you for doing this, and I wish you great success with this record. I can't wait to hear more from you. And if by some miracle you do get over to the States and do some shows and all of that, uh,
Absolutely.
please let me know. I
Mhm.
would love to come see one. And especially if you're in Michigan, there's tons and tons of places to play. And I know most of the owners of most of the clubs. So,
Okay, let's hook up. Let's
yeah, like
exchange emails. I love to play there. Yeah.
I would say I can put you in contact with more than a few people that could possibly accommodate your um, performance wishes. So,
Great. No, we are playing a couple of shows afterwards. The next in 2 weeks. We also have a little release party going on.
oh,
In
nice.
pretty soon. So it's things are moving. We had a really bad luck with this pandemic. Everything just got canceled, but now things are moving. I have teams. Beatrice and Nika, they are in the States, and I've got teams in Germany who are also doing excellent work. So
Nice.
my album is actually across the globe, being it's available everywhere, and we have promotion teams set up for different regions. So I have a slightly wider, you know, approach, and they're different. They're different markets. Germany
Right.
is my second biggest market. States is my first market. That was also the one place where my music got accepted at once. The first place which started listening and also playing my music was the States. Community and college radio stations. They started playing
Yeah.
my first album, and they were really great. I did started doing the first album, second album. Come See Conquer was in the AMA charts, which is great. I was with my people I really admired. John Fogerty and all these guys were in the
Ah,
chart
there's a name,
along
another
with
one.
me. Yeah, they're going up. Coming down. I'm going up. That's great. Then the '93, Grammy nomination was great there, and then I shift. I also had to, Germany. I didn't really do much there before '93. I started, and with Little Boat last album won Germany's best album of the year, English language album of the year award, which is
Oh,
official.
wow.
Yeah. So that's also a huge
Yeah.
appreciation for my music, which is great. It's in Germany's, by the way, the second biggest market on the earth.
Yeah. I
Next,
would say
yeah,
Germany
yeah,
is,
it's
I mean, that's
it's
a hell of
huge.
an award to win in Germany because,
Yeah, it's
I
it's
mean,
huge, and you have bands which are doing extremely well, and you don't hear from them, and they don't need to go out of Germany, basically. But it was interesting. On my last album, Little Boat, I had a song which is the original is "My Wallet is a House of Cards," and there's a German version also on the CD. And then I hear from some of the radio stations in in um, in the Midwest actually playing the German version.
Yeah.
I was surprised. I said,
It's it doesn't surprise me because we as Americans, there are a lot of German bands that we love, and we have a huge German
"Oh,
population.
I was singing German, and they actually played
Yeah.
Kartenhus. That's a German version instead of My Wallet is a House of Cards. You know, you can see that, and that's pretty. That I mean, I think it's amazing.
Yeah.
You know that my German version of the song gets played in the States, in Midwest.
I mean,
But
I hear stations playing Rammstein all the time. I hear them
okay,
playing
yeah, yeah, okay.
Scorpions. I hear them playing.
Mhm.
I've heard stations, believe it or not, playing the baseballs, which is kind of crazy because it's not really. I don't think it's a name that most people would know outside of Europe. But going back to the Stray Cats, very similar in sound.
Yeah,
An amazing band. Um,
yeah.
but
That was very surprising, and I was really pleased to see that. You
yeah,
know, that song was just like it's the last second. It actually what happened is I finished the album, everything was done and mastered, and then suddenly lyrics came in, and I started writing. Within 10 minutes, I had the German lyrics. I sang it, and I thought, what do I do with that now? You know,
yeah,
and I thought, some energy brought me the lyrics, and
yeah,
I sing that. I put it on the music. Mix was already done, so my voice, I just had to switch on the German track, German voice track, and I had the mix, and I sent it over to Abbey Road where I mastered the album, and they mastered it. So it was like within half an hour, I had a song finished, and that was like it was
yeah.
something just woof came out, and it was
Nice.
amazing that this thing got played in the States.
Yeah. It's always great to win an award in Germany because, I mean, you
Yeah,
have to go
yeah,
up against Hasselhoff,
it's closer to home. It's
and,
always good. Yeah, it's always
and you
good.
have to compete against Hasselhoff, man. Like, you beat the Hoff, man.
Yeah,
No, I
there's
love
another.
I love German. I love Germany. I so many bands from Germany that I love. So I
Yeah.
totally respect winning an award there. Like
Yep.
I
Yep. Germans are really
yeah
good audience. I play
yes
a lot there, and I love playing there. They are so receptive and
yeah
so you have a different. Normally, people have a different. They expect different reaction from Germans. They think Germans are sort of, technical, sort of
yeah.
cold, maybe. But
Um,
German audience is great. They are so good.
what was it?
You know,
Yeah, we seen many years ago. I've been to Wacken.
yeah,
Um, I actually flew to Wacken for the sole purpose of seeing the band Creator.
yeah,
Creator is one of my favorite metal
mhm,
bands. Um, but while there, we went to, and I might say this wrong. I think it's a club. It's a club in Hamburg. I think it's called Kaiser Killer,
yeah. Kaiser
and
Killer.
we seen a show there, and it was definitely different.
Yeah, yes.
Not in the nicest area. um,
No, no, no. But
but
Hamburg is a very special place.
yeah,
Hamburg,
it's a crazy
Hamburg.
place, and
It's it's like Amsterdam, Hamburg, Amsterdam. Those are harbor towns, and they have a special groove. Just
yeah,
like Liverpool.
um,
It's just different. It's different.
but we had fun, so
Yeah, yeah,
they
yeah.
treated us well, and um, I love Germany. I love the food. I love the beer. Because Lord knows, once you drink German beer, American beer just kind of tastes like toilet water. Um, I
Yeah.
think that's with most European beer. Once you drink beer from over there and then you come home, you're kind of like,
But
the
but
hell is
the most variety of beers are actually brewed in Belgium.
yeah,
Belgium is the beer, country of the world. It's like
yeah.
you got like 300 or 400 beers, local beers, in those bars
As
in
long as
Ghent.
it isn't Beck's. Beck's is horrible.
No, you don't see. You don't see.
Beck's is terrible.
No.
Same with Guinness. I know being part Irish, everyone tells me you're supposed to drink Guinness. You're supposed to drink Guinness.
Yeah,
Why?
but there are much better beers in Ireland than Guinness. I mean, Guinness is well known. Okay.
Guinness is horrible. Guinness
Yeah,
is. Ugh.
bitter.
I don't know how people can drink Guinness.
It's
I am a terrible, terrible Irish representation because I am probably the only Irish person walking the earth that hates the taste of Guinness.
and
Like,
I think Ireland has much more to offer than just
yeah,
Guinness.
like give me Killian's Red, I would drink Killian's all day, but
Yeah.
Guinness is horrible. Sir, thank you for doing this. Like I said, I wish you great success. I will
Thank
let
you
you
very
get
much.
on to other things. This is the Noise Report, Mr. Ajay Mathur. Check out the record. It's called Talking Loudly. Find all the videos. Go to his website. Buy the records.
Yeah.
Don't be a cheapskate. And
Yep, I think the CD is really well done. You have to. It was actually, it was mixed in the States. A young guy, Grammy-winning record mixing engineer from California.
okay.
I found him. I wanted to mix a couple of. Usually, I mix my own albums, but I found him. I thought let me try a couple of songs because I liked his sound, and we ended up really working well together. He's a young guy. He's 24.
Oh, wow.
Already a Grammy winner, man. Can you?
Crazy.
And such a great, such a mature soul. And we could talk. He could even decipher, my cryptic description. I wanted to go from a hot flow into this cold, crystal. Okay, what's that? I mean, any engineer would say, "Oh, this guy's crazy," but he knew exactly what I meant, and that's the beauty of, of working with people who get it, who get you, who understand you. And we ended up doing the whole album. He
Nice.
made everything, and it was great. It was a great experience, and I got it mastered in New York. Emily Lazar mastered it. She's also amazing. She's one of the few ladies who's just amazing mastering engineer. Yeah.
Hmm?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if it's male or female, as long as they get the job done, man. That's
but there's a certain feeling about her doing things. She's done Beck. She's done
okay.
David Bowie. She's done
Wow.
lots of other bands. And she's amazing. I'm really happy I got to work with these people.
I mean, she obviously knows what she's doing if she's working with David Bowie, because Bowie is not going to work with an amateur. So,
David had an apartment. Used to live in Switzerland.
Yeah.
You could bump into him, all the time.
I've never been to Switzerland. I would love to go. Hopefully, eventually, I'll get there. I've been to most of the rest of Europe, but I've never been.
I have friends who regularly bump into Tina Turner, who lives in Zurich.
I'm so sad about Tina. Like I know her situation, and she's kind of accepted and things, but even knowing what's coming and pending, that documentary that they did about her life, it's so heartbreaking, and it's going to be so devastating when it finally happens, because, like who do you compare to Tina? Like Tina is such, she's so on her own level.
No, nobody. She's iconic. She's going to stay iconic. It's like Hendrix. I mean, when he was gone. It's just less like gone. There's nothing compares to that. Nothing ever will. Lot copied. Copied a lot, but never even touched it. Tina Turner is just amazing. Yeah.
I've come to realize that the worst part of growing old isn't the aging part so much. It's watching your heroes pass on and seeing you knowing that in my lifetime, I'm going to see Ozzy die. I'm going to see David Bowie. I'm going to see Tina Turner. I'm going to see, having seen Frank Zappa pass, and going to see Elton John and all of these amazing performers.
Man, every love story ends in a tragedy. You know that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is like that. You have to accept it. It's. But
Yeah.
the good thing is that this music will stay forever.
Yeah.
I mean, my records, my son, who's now in his early 30s, he loves that music from back then. I remember when he was like 12, he took all my Aerosmith albums and Jimi Hendrix, Doors, everything was gone.
Yeah.
I said, where are my records? I went to his room. It was all. And then he would sit there, for hours and just look at the album covers, and he felt like me, that's like I was when I first heard, for the first time, the Doors album. Oh wow, or Hendrix, and this goes on. This music is going to be loved by every generation. We got a grandkid. He's 7. What does he play and what does he sing? We will. That's what he's grooving on, not on some techno music or pop.
No, it's. I mean, it's funny that timeless music is timeless music. I know as a kid, my dad had the first Boston record.
Yeah.
I would play that record so much that I would just wear the grooves out of the record. And he would have to replace it. And then I would wear that one out and he would replace it. After about 3 or 4 times of doing that, he came home one day. I was sitting at my desk doing homework and he threw the record on my desk. He's like, here's a copy of the record. He's like, now leave my goddamn copies alone. He bought me my own so I would leave it alone. Because that first Boston record, again, it's one of them records from beginning to end. It's just one of the greatest.
That's what happened to my, my Doors records or my first Axis Bold as Love. We used to have people, we used to have little parties and DJ and these things got scratched. So we put like a coin on top of the stylus.
Yeah.
That doesn't jump anymore. So I've got a couple of those old records. You can't listen to them anymore. They're totally scratched. But I've just kept them for old time's sake. You can't listen to them. They're just completely wrecked.
Yeah.
But that's how it was back then,
Awesome. So we're gonna wrap this up and we will be back with the next episode soon.